Hey everybody, I'm David with Bolivar Live, and once again, I'm here with Landon with Prestige Custom Builders. Today's could be an in-depth show, and the reason is why? That's the question.
Yeah.
And you and I were talking about it earlier, and you broke it down, and I said, man, if you don't use that, I'm going to. But you said, why? And a lot of people do things and they don't know why they're doing it that way. They're doing it because everyone else does it. But what I've learned with you is, because of your in-depth research into going to the building shows in Vegas, the reason we've done a show on pilings, on every why, you've got an in-depth reason behind it and a description, I guess you could say. It's like when we were sitting here, I said, Landon, why did you paint that bar or that counter under the counter blue?
Yeah.
And you explained it to me. So let's talk why.
So I think it all goes back to, you got to stand for something, right? Like you have to understand why you're doing something to be any good at it. I never talk about another builder or anything like that about what they do or what they don't do. I don't care what they do. I always talk about what we do. But we have a reason for why we do certain things, why we do things a certain way, why we use certain trades, why we use certain materials, and it all goes back to having something you stand for, right? So we go back to why Prestige was started. You can look on our website that we just talked about just last week, and we talk about, what Prestige stands for, why it was started, how it was started. You go back to why we decided to use the Bolivar Peninsula as our starting point. And it goes all the way through our houses, like into the materials that we use, the paint colors we select, the people that we do business with on the peninsula, off the peninsula, the people that we choose to advertise with. I mean, it goes all the way down to everything, the banks that we use. Mm-hmm. We have a why for everything that we do.
And everyone should.
Absolutely. And if you don't have one, it should be kind of like a little telltale sign, like, okay, because everybody else does it. Why does everybody else do it? That doesn't make it right. It doesn't make it right that everybody else, chooses to use a certain material, so that's what you use. If you don't know anything about the material, you're using it for the wrong reasons. Because I don't rely on a lumber yard to tell me what material to use. I'm going to do my own research, and I'm going to go and find out the answers that make me feel comfortable, that stand behind the values that Prestige has. And that is why we use them. The trades that we use. These are the trades we use because these are the people that we've selected. These are the people that I feel like give us the best value for our houses. That's why we use them. When it comes back to the advertisers that we use, whether it be you or our social media company that we have a why as to why we use those companies, because we believe in them. And not only that, we believe in them, they believe in us. And so we use those people for those reasons. And I feel like there's a lot of times things get done because that's what the general public does, or that's what the general population, that's the way they do things down here or anywhere else. Just don't go with that. I just don't go with that theory.
You beat to your own drum.
It's one of those two. I'm going to do it differently. I'm going to do it. The reason that we do it this way is because X, Y, Z.
Well, and you even took it to and extended and tied into, what was it, Georgia Pacific?
Yeah.
When you're talking about why, and they jumped on board.
Absolutely.
They came down here and filmed and did a show, not presentation, but a little YouTube-like show that they could use on why, you telling them why you use the product.
Yep.
And it was down here on Bolivar, in one of your homes that you were building that had their product on there, and more or less they were answering the question through the show, why?
Well, and not only that, and that's a material that no one else uses down here. Mm-hmm. But we have a reason for why we use that specific material down here. And it goes to that theory of, I don't care what everybody else is doing, I'm going to do it the way that we want to do it, and we have a reason for doing it that way. And when I sit down in front of a customer and I can sit there and tell them, this is the reason why we do it, here's the reason why we do it, these are the materials we use to do it. That makes them feel, good about, confident in knowing, hey, this guy actually knows what he's talking about. I don't go in and try to this house needs X amount of tonnage of AC. Look,
Right.
I'm not the AC guy. I don't have the computer or the calculations to be able to get that out. If I wanted to, I'd find it out. But there's a reason why I use the AC company, because that is what they do. That is what they're licensed to do. When it comes to plumbing, electrical, things like that. But we've gone through, and in these shows that we've done, we've talked about the ABB smart system. We've talked about the wall sheathing. We've talked about different types of siding
Faucets
materials,
and
plumbing faucets. You can figure out why we use these things. And a lot of reasons why we use things material-wise is because it falls back in line with what we stand behind as well.
Right. And one of the, you go into Vegas once or twice a year for the building show. That's where you have found,
where we found a lot of stuff.
The ABB system, the siding.
Yep.
I think a couple faucets that you'd looked at, new faucets you brought down here. And so that's why you go there, is so that you can stay on top of products and get the best product for our environment. Because we've talked about the environment down here. You really have to research your product to see if it'll stand up down here to the harsh elements.
Well, and then getting those people to buy back into you as well. So, I mean, it comes full circle. But, it's going to be something that we kind of hit on. We talked about, ways to follow us last week on the show. And it's going to come back to that. And we're going to start hitting on these whys, why we do certain things, why we use certain people, whether it be lenders, advertisers, materials, vendors, whatever the case may be. And we're going to start putting those things out on social media and kind of thanking those people that we do business with, but at the same time explaining to our community, like, of these are our whys. And if you don't have a why,
or answer a why.
Yeah, it says something about, like, you should probably figure out why you do something.
It's so like when you go up to someone, you say, "Why are you using that?" "Well, I don't know." And that's just a common question. Because they really don't think. They probably know, a lot of people, but they really don't think on why they're doing things a certain way. And I explained to Anthony, when he first started, why I did it this way, and he said, "Well, what if we did it this way?" And we worked on, what's best for Bolivar Live and the tourism center and his workflow and my workflow. So, well, like I said, this was a deep dive into a lot of things, because we've covered, last week, the website and how to get in contact and knowing Prestige. And this is sort of a why concept as far as, how their philosophy is. And I can tell you, when Landon goes in and talks to someone, or you see him somewhere and you ask him a question about a product or something, he's got a great reason why he likes using it, and he stands behind it. It's sort of like I tell advertisers, I stand behind you 100%, for your advertising and for your business down here. So, well, Landon, thanks for joining us today. We'll be back next week with another awesome show about building homes here on Bolivar Peninsula with Prestige Custom Builders. Until next time, I'm David with Bolivar Live. Y'all have a great day, great week. Come see us. God bless, and bye-bye.